Okay, you mighty Intrepid followers up there, we have finally captured Trevor on video for our first interview. So Trevor, want to start by saying thank you so much for letting us live this trip around the world vicariously through you. It is so exciting. I have to say, like getting these texts at 4:30 in the morning, or these WhatsApp updates, my body is actually, I start to wake up a little bit beforehand, and I'm anxious to see what you guys have been up to that day. So I want to start off by asking you, how did this come about? How did you conceive? Like, how long have you been sailing? Where did you get the idea to sail around the world? Like, where did it all start? You weren't on the road sailing team, were you?
No.
No.
Sailed as a kid. Thanks, Charlene, for all this and for helping get organized. I kind of keep a low profile now.
Yeah, so, I know. It's pinning you down for an interview. It's taken me a month or longer, actually.
I know. I don't really publicize what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Mainly because, creditors. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I was a sailor as a kid, and always sailed in Vancouver Harbor growing up, and took over the years to a lot of family vacations and stuff like that. Loved it, and then got the idea to, eventually sail around the world if I could put the pieces together. And then had a pretty solid run in the corporate America, and got a chance to retire and take some chips off the table in 2018. So I bought a boat then, an Oyster. It's a 72.5-foot blue water cruising boat, which is quite a well-equipped boat for this kind of thing. And then the reason I bought this boat is that they have a thing called the Oyster World Rally, which is a combination of boats that are all the same class that get together and sail around the world. So 25 of us every 3 years. And really, it was that motivated me to say, okay, with 25 other boats or 30 or whatever, yeah, that would be a good to do it. And so in 2018, I got the boat, did some work on it, hired a pro crew, and I went back to school, studied, humbling, learned, got my competent crew certificate, and then my day skipper, and then my master, and then ocean master tickets, and hired an instructor to work with me and my wife. And we just brought ourselves up the curve slowly over, that was in 2019, sailed around the Med most of that summer. And then later in that year, we sailed across from the Canaries to St. Lucia. And that was my first Atlantic crossing, and then let the crew go at Christmas that year, and sort of bit the bullet. This is quite a bit of boat for 2 people. But we learned how to,
it looks like it anyway.
Yeah, and we'll do a tour, and I'll show everybody around what it looks like. Yeah, and then sailed right up until COVID times in the Caribbean. And then my boat, I was back in Austin for a weekend, and the boat got stranded there, and so couldn't get back to St. Martin. So after 100 days of it being in a marina there, came back and sailed it to the east coast of the U.S. in 2020, right, and all the way up to the Canadian border, and then sailed all the way back down last year to Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, New York City, Virginia Beach, and Annapolis, all the way down to West Palm Beach, and then out into the Bahamas, and all the way back the windward sail all the way up back to St. Martin. And then in May this year, we sailed back to Bermuda, and then across to the Azores and Portugal, and back into the Med, back to Palma, my European base.
Well, and you said that at the end of this leg coming over, you said that Intrepid has logged 30,000 miles, and that's under your skipper.
Yeah.
Under that's in
Yep.
on your watch.
Yep. 30. Yep. I've sailed 30,000 miles since 2019. April of 2019, I sold my shit and got a duffel bag, moved on the boat, never looked back.
Wow, well, it's quite amazing. It's absolutely incredible. It's like the courage to do that is just incredible. And I'm wanting, I want to get out there on the boat, but I feel like I need to do that, the learning curve. Like, so people are wondering what I'm up to. So I guess 2019, and when I retired from the bank and went back to school to do my PhD, I also wanted to get into boating and get into being a seafarer and sail around the world.
Which garden? Never.
Yeah. Well, I think with me watching you, I will eventually do it. And you've seen me working for the Coast Guard and other things. I'm a little bit too shy to get out on a sailboat at this point, but wanting to get through my yacht masters and work my way up. But it's just absolutely incredible. And what I've done is I put all the slides together, all the pictures together from this leg, and I thought we could go through them because there's a narrative there's a story behind each of those pictures that needs to be told. And I thought we should try to get it told while it's still fresh in your mind.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just trying to think of any questions. Some people were saying in our class comments that they didn't know you were a Mars officer, but clearly it sounds like you were Mars before you were Marie, if you were raised on a sailboat. So
don't forget I made the top half possible in university. So I was generally the bottom third.
Okay.
And yeah, no, I always liked the navigation, seamanship side of the thing. I was a MARE officer, so I spent a lot of time in the engineering world back in the day. This is actually both. Owning a yacht like this is about 70% systems and about 20% sailing and about 10% admin, certificate, registration.
And that's
clearing.
That's why I'm working my way up the engine room, because that's what I figured is that for me to go and charter yachts, I need to really know my stuff down in the engine room. So that's kind of my motive in diving into the mechanical side, because that's not my strength. But anyway.
Well, you quickly learn that when you're at sea or on a passage, like on one passage between St. Martin and Bermuda, my generator died. This is before we were doing this, and it's just one of those things. You carry spares, and I had to rip it apart, and it turned out to be a fairly simple thing, but that's what happens when you're at sea, and it's all the time. It's every trip. There's something, even if no matter
breaking down,
something breaks, something you gotta be, and it becomes a big part of it. You spend more time thinking about spares and replenishing certain items that you could water. There's about 20 systems on this boat, everything from power generation to air conditioning to water making to freshwater systems, etc. And I can tell you 1,000 stories of funny incidents where things have, in some cases I had spares, some cases I didn't. But I've been preparing for this circumnavigation for almost 3 years now, and I have, I'm finally ready. But it's taken 30,000 sailing miles and 3 Atlantic crossings probably to be prepared enough to say, hey, under the right circumstances, I'm probably okay to do it.
Yeah, well, it's amazing, and I can't wait. Well, I guess you've already started, but I can't wait to see what else unfolds over the next year and a half. So, well, what I'd like to do now is I'm going to pull up the slideshow, a PowerPoint of your trip, and I'll try to get this figured out with sharing screen. And I just need to work out the timings on it. So I don't, use it by mouse click. Hopefully it'll work. Bear with me here. Okay, where are we? Zoom. I'm going to share screen. Okay. And do you see the adventures of the mighty Intrepid?
Awesome. I see it.
Okay, so these are the pictures that you sent me from the day you started out, December 6th. That's when the butter had melted and you turned right and you headed across. That was great. So it doesn't seem to, oh, there we go. This was the first picture that you sent me, and I really didn't know what it was, but I didn't want to interrupt you because you just started out and I didn't want to be using up a lot of your bandwidth because I know Wi-Fi does cost when you're out at sea. So I was wondering what these are.
Yeah. Yeah. I communicate by satellite when I'm at when we're at sea, and which is quite good, but it's breathtakingly expensive. This is Tenerife, where there's no, or sorry, this is Lanzarote, where there's no. This is up in the Canaries. So this is prior to the 6th of December, but this is there's no water on the island, and they use the humidity in the fog and the very few clouds that come over, that this basically captures dew, and that dew settles on the grapevines. Of course, this is a vineyard, and so this is how they grow grapes in a place that never rains. And this is so capturing dew and fog in these little semicircular pits that are protection from the wind and dew collecting points.
Okay, incredible. Well, I knew it was something technical or whatever, but didn't quite know. Hang on here, let me get my slide cursor. Oh, where are we? There we are. Okay. And there's probably a story behind this picture. Was it just the waves are probably way more pronounced than what the picture shows?
Yeah, I think
we went through some really heavy sea state there at the beginning.
Yeah. Normally on a crossing like this, the trades blow steadily at about 25 knots. We had a bit more than that this time. Very fast crossing for us. Mm-hmm. But the waves were 3 to 5 meters all the time. And it's very difficult to picture that, but we were trying to capture it and, couldn't. But these waves are mountains. They're 10 seconds between them, and you can hide between the peaks and the very high off. So I think that was an effort to grab one of those.
Because it just doesn't look, I'm sure it's just, this looks so calm, but I'm sure it was anything but calm. Okay, let's see. So this one is a little bit more pronounced, but probably the same.
The high school buddy came with me on this trip. One of the reasons I did this was try to reconnect with old friends and different people from my life, and so this was a guy who joined us, trying to get some GoPro footage of what it was really like, that's a better shot of it.
Okay, cool. And this was you guys, actually this was the day you headed out, wasn't it? This was the day you,
yep,
that's the day you sent me this.
Yep, that's a picture of Mindelo. That's a couple friends of ours and my crew and my wife and I.
Oh, excellent.
I've got 2 full-time crew members, first mate and a chef.
And this was getting your sail mended. This looked like quite an amazing feat.
Incredible. We ripped my carbon Genoa sail on the way down from Tenerife to Cape Verde, and then I had to go hunting around and find this crazy guy. Tuga was his name, and he turned out to be a gem, and sorted me out, sewed the sail for me, and it's another great story. Can't make this stuff up. I spend half the time in every port trying to find someone to do something for me, and so this is Tuga doing his thing. It was awesome, and it held perfect. We used it every day, held perfectly. Dolphins all the time. Yeah, they always come, often in huge numbers, and that's a really very cool part of this whole thing is the wildlife, whales and dolphins and birds that we see. It's amazing.
So you would see them right across in the middle of the ocean as well, or is it just closer
Oh
to
yeah,
the shore? Okay.
it's hard. Yeah, all the time in the Med, everywhere in the Atlantic. Sometimes 40, 50 at a time.
Oh, that's amazing. And this is Mahi number 1, I think, right?
Yep.
So on your crossing, you caught 2 fish in total, right? Is that the story?
Sadly only 2. Yeah, it's a bit
Have you
embarrassing.
have you found someone in Antigua to give you some hints on fishing gear?
Yeah, gear, upgrading some gear, getting
Yeah.
a little more. Never really been a fisherman, so I got to try to learn. And
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I'm on the
awesome.
curve,
And
not too far.
And good
Fun.
eating too. There's motive behind that from the foodie that you are. I can't believe what a foodie you are. I mean, I was getting it
Yep.
from your posts. Okay, here,
Yep.
and this was, speaking of foodies, this was the crossing record that you established.
Yeah,
Kirsty's
that was our
favorite
big.
brownies.
Yeah, this is Kirsty, our crew member, and this is a 243 brownies. That was 243 miles in 24 hours. So that was a little over 10 knot average, which is pretty fast for a big boat.
Yeah.
So it's good.
So how will
That's
your speed compare to the other oysters in the rally? Because you're the largest boat in the rally, aren't you?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it would be a little faster, probably a knot or 2 than the smallest boats. It really has to do with waterline more than anything.
okay.
In bigger sail area, bigger mast, and
Mhm.
I've got a full carbon rig on this boat, so we're a little bit lighter up top and big, powerful sails that are allow you a little bit more flexibility in higher winds. So we end up going a little faster, which just means we get to the parties earlier.
Right. So, okay, let's keep going. And this is a beautiful sunset. I was wondering if you ever get tired of the sunsets when you're out on the ocean.
Really don't. No,
Wow.
always something every day.
Just magnificent. And another wonderful meal by the looks of it. This was your wasn't taco, it was enchiladas or something, or
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, might have even been some of the raw fish.
oh, okay.
This is another one of our crew members plotting for some of our friends on board manually the course across the Atlantic. We just do that so that people can see the image of it.
Right. And I guess in case anything ever happens, there's another glorious sunset, but you see some white foam there, some frothing. I was wondering if this is another mountainous.
It is, yeah, big
Yeah.
waves,
Yeah.
hard to capture, no depth of field on these iPhones.
No, but beautiful, beautiful. And this is so are you going to make it to our next reunion? And are you going to be part of the coffee house if we have a musical thing on Friday night there? I see you got your guitar out.
Yeah, maybe I can send a clip in. I'm probably sailing full time for the next 2 years, but I'll be around.
Okay, we'll try to get a video for you to send in for that. And
that sounds good.
This was your red, just navigation at night with your red lights on. Is that what you're trying to capture there? And so, okay, so now perhaps a good time to talk about your bimini, because you put in a solar bimini, and that's just right above that, is it not?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, a lot of people say, what do you do at night? And the truth is we keep standing watches like in the Navy and sail through the night. And so it's all red lighting and instruments and displays. And what you see on top there is my new carbon solar bimini. So this is a hard top, all solar panels on top, and then lights and speakers and stuff on the underside. Very slender carbon design, really to aid with protection from sun and wind and waves, and also to sort of partially enclose our cockpit space to make passage making more comfortable. So it's kind of a new. It's a bit of a new feature for oysters. It's a bit groundbreaking from a power management perspective.
Now, have you reached out to the manufacturer to try to get some publicity for their system and some marketing, or is that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh, good.
I got a royalty agreement. Absolutely.
Oh, excellent. And this, you guys are hauling in. Is this pulling in the Mahi number 2? Is that?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. Tricky to do. It's hard to stop the boat. So you got to pull it in while you're moving. And sometimes we were doing 8, 7, 8, 9 knots. So not easy, but that's what the boys are working on right there.
Right. Yes. And there's the girls. And
Yeah.
enjoying.
That's my wife and a friend of ours. It's with a, that's just another sun. Yeah. That's a sunrise, I believe, or it might be a sunset.
Okay. It's
The next.
beautiful. And oh yeah, there, right. Yeah, there's that. Yeah. That's one or the other,
Yeah.
right? And there's another couple that's joined you for the passage.
Old from Canada.
Cool.
Before I defected to the US.
And there's the trophy photo.
Yeah, there's Mahi number 2.
Cool. And here you're coming into, is it Falmouth Harbor? Is that?
Yeah, Falmouth Harbor in Antigua. Yeah.
And is that where is that where you're anchored now?
Yeah, that's where I am right now. Antigua, hanging out. My son just joined us here and seeing some friends off. And yeah, we're just now we're here for 3 weeks until we leave on the big round the world tour.
So there'll be a big send off, a big party just before, and then January 9th you head down, and you said you're going to be doing some scuba diving in the ABCs.
Yeah. In the ABC Islands, Bonaire, Aruba, Carrasco. So yeah, and then Cartagena, and then Panama, and then Galapagos, and then French Polynesia, Marquesas, Tahiti, Fiji, Lao group, Vanuatu.
Okay, and now on the Oyster site, does it show you each leg and the dates where you're supposed to be arriving? Yeah. Okay, so that's.
And I could publish my itinerary too if. And by the way, if anyone is at anywhere of these places or around and wants to come down and visit or come with us for a sail or whatever, I'd be delighted to participate in that. Host at a minimum a few beers for any of the group, the old class. Take you sailing. I think
some of the serious sailors may just take you up on that, or
yeah, love that.
With COVID right now, things are really starting to lock down. Like I left Kingston just the other day, and it's become the hot spot of Canada. And yeah, so things are. What's it like down there right now for COVID?
Yeah, it's not bad here, but they're very strict on the island, so everyone's vaccinated, and lots and lots of testing for people coming in. So, but I hear Canada's getting locked down pretty hard right now. So
it is, yeah. So I'm just trying to think of some stumper questions for you, Trev, before we wrap it up. Is there anything, first of all those stories that you've got, you're going to have to keep them. You're going to have to tell us, because that makes great writing when you write your book at the end of all that. We can.
Well, let's do another one next week, and maybe we can do a tour of the boat, and I can show some of the systems and stuff like that. And then I've got every passage we've made. I've written a daily letter. Start out as a letter to my mom, so just a way to say, hey, we're fine, Nice. Here's what's going on, here's what we're eating. And then it turned out to be something that people were interested in a little bit, so I'm trying to keep it up for that. So let's do a tour sometime in the next week or 10 days or something.
Yeah, sounds good.
Show people around.
And I'm going to try to keep posting on Sundays, on my Sailor Sundays. And when you're out of range, I think I'm going to start to interview some of our sailor buddies that have been doing some fun things as well. And
that'd be fun. I'd love to hear their stories.
Yeah,
compare notes.
Yeah, we've got some avid sailors amongst the group, and would love to have them share their stories as well. So without any further ado then, Trev, I hope you have a fabulous Christmas and New Year's. And I look forward to that tour of your boat. And thank you for all the wonderful blogs and photos and videos, and just keep them coming.
Thank you, Chuck. It's been fun to share this with you, and I know you've worked hard on this, and I appreciate. I'm pretty hard to get a hold of, and like I said, I keep a pretty low profile. So thank you for pulling this data out, and support you any way I can.
It's absolutely a labor of love, because one of these days I will be out there on the high seas. I just have to get this PhD done first. So.
Yeah. Knock it out.
I will. Okay, well,
All
I'm
right.
gonna stop recording and we'll catch you soon.